Hello there, Chad Remington here, your lead expert reporter of the Prestigious Diamond Dynasty League. Here with you for a trade review. We have, Jason Lunow, Dallas Duttys, trading away CD, Bailey Zappi, a 2025 second and 6,000 fab, to Tyler Schaefer, undefeated in playoffs, for Brees Hall, Irv Smith, and a 2024 third round. I think this is probably the biggest blockbuster, trade in the PDDL league history so far. I do think Tyler did not need to trade away Brees Hall this year. I think his team is good enough, and he could have held on to him. But at least he did trade him away for a young wide receiver asset rather than trading for some older players, some older players. I think this team is. My first gut is that this trade can benefit both teams. I think there's a ton of risk on Jason's side of this trade, so my gut is that this trade values worse for sure. Not to get in, not to go into too much about like Brees Hall and everything, but I think we've had a lot of people on both sides of this trade, which makes it a fair trade. But a lot of people being like, "Oh, Tyler should have got more for Brees Hall," but at the same time, there wasn't that many people willing to give up that much for Brees Hall. I know Tyler put in a lot of work to try to get some extra, or to get as much as he could for Brees Hall, but people complaining that he didn't get enough, or were not willing to, put up enough themselves for Brees Hall. So it's kind of weird. It's kind of annoying and to hear that, I guess. But anyway, before I go down a rabbit hole, let's back this trade. We'll try to do this quick. CD Lamb, a very young, pretty young, I think, he's in his third season, wide receiver, a bona fide, my neck is killing me, my bad, a bona fide wide receiver one on the Dallas Cowboys. He is he had an absolute monster of a game last week, 15 targets, 11 catches, 2 touchdowns. And I think, I love CD. I think he's very talented. Dak has been a little on and off lately with injuries, so he has suffered a little bit from that. But I also think he kind of suffers sometimes when the Dallas their game plan isn't to throw the ball, and they just kind of constantly run the ball, and he kind of just is there soaking up coverage, yada yada. But when he's part of their game plan, he's just absolutely absurd, and just making, honestly, like highlight catches as well. And it kind of, I'm trying to look at like a game. Detroit, this is a perfect example of like, this is Dallas just wanting to run the ball. They don't need to even pass the ball, and him getting 4 catches, 7 yards, which is still pretty darn good. But he's got a definitely. This floor is very safe, and CD also has a high ceiling, as shown from last week. And CD can really only kind of go up from here. I think there's a lot of potential with him. I think the risk is worth it with him. I could keep going about CD, but we'll make some stupid jokes and we'll say dumb shit. So, Bailey Zappi, the GOAT, Tom Brady 2.0. I love Bailey Zappi personally. I know Tyler valued him. Mac Jones sucks. If you ever heard of, I don't want to spill too much tea, but Patriots and backup QBs have a good history. Bailey Zappi had an absolute monster career. And again, I'll just say, I think I already said this, but Mac Jones sucks. So this job could become Bailey Zappi's at any time. I really do believe that. We can go on another 10 minutes about Bailey, but we'll stop there. I love the guy though. 2025 second. Jason's team in 2025 could really go anywhere from the worst team to the best team. Their range is really anywhere, so I think this is a big risky pick to throw in here to this trade. And 6,000 fab, not too much to comment on this. I have an inside source that said Tyler might be the worst person to trade with, and that's kind of why it was. It's just like thrown in there. I don't know why exactly. Just Tyler demands a lot. But anyway, we'll move on to the other side. Irv Smith, he was having an okay year, nothing special. I don't want to talk too much about Irv Smith because I don't think he's anything of that special. I think tight ends take a little bit to develop. He's in his fourth year right now. I think it's fourth year. I mean, he was injured one full year. I mean, nothing too sexy, nothing too bad. Had an okay, rookie year last year. Was hit on pace for being okay this year, but then got hurt. And hasn't played the last 2 weeks. He's on IR. Athletic tight end from Alabama. I think Jason is just kind of taking the shot that maybe he gets traded, or I think maybe his contract's up to either end of this year or next year, and he gets signed by some other team who's kind of tight end needy, and maybe flashes potential. Not We're gonna stop talking about Irv Smith. I don't even think Jason really wanted him in this trade, but Brees Hall. Brees Hall is this year's rookie number one pick in the PDDL. He was having a pretty fantastic year, I would say, with the Jets offense, who was starting to look better and better. I think people are sleeping on the Jets. We kind of had a hot take about the Jets being a pretty good offense going into this year, and I think they're kind of showing it and I think it'll only get better. Honestly, I don't know if Zach Wilson is the answer, but I think that the pieces there are just absurd. But Brees Hall was having a great year, looked really good. First game, coming in a rookie season, whatever. Did have 6 catches, lost fumble, has fumbled since. Good to see it from a football perspective, but can catch the ball, can obviously run the ball. His yards per carry is good. I mean, I don't know if there's like a long, he breaks big runs too. He's a home run hitter too. I think on this one he had like a 60-yard touchdown, and then he hurt himself later in the game. But anyway, Brees Hall is obviously talented, but he did have a major ACL injury and a meniscus injury, and to me, it's going to take 2 years for Brees Hall to kind of get back to where he potentially was during his rookie year. I think next year he's not going to be that good. So I think this can pay off for Jason in like 2 to 3 years. I don't think it's going to pay off next year type of thing. I think it'll be okay next year, but I don't think like anything special. I think that would be good for Jason, obviously, but I don't think it will realistically happen. Brees Hall is talented, and big risk though is all that's the best summary I can say, is that this is a very risky acquisition. Accusation. Never mind. Acquisition. In a 2023 third round, I think Tyler seems very good. I think that this next year third will probably be like a late third. It won't very little value. So kind of getting back to overall trade. I mean, to me, Brees Hall, CD are pretty fair equivalent. I think all the risk is on the whoever gets Brees Hall, because he's injured and it's going to take time to recover and get back to normal. CD's a healthy young receiver. Irv Smith, Bailey kind of, I don't know, cancel each other out. Maybe Irv Smith's a little more valuable just because Bailey's obviously a backup QB, but I mean, this is a wash. So Jason throwing in this second for a third is just, I mean, the value and the risk. Value is on Tyler's side, risk is on Jason's side in this trade. And especially since CD is the current healthy player, I think this is just a lot for Jason to risk in this. But that being said, I think this could pay off for Jason in 2, 3, 4 years type of thing. And for this trade for Warris can really pay off either this year. Really, it only pays off this year if he wins this year, but I think it will definitely pay off in the next few years as well, because he has a window, and I think next year and maybe even 3 years. The next, in 2 years, I guess, CD is still going to be himself, and it will still be a very good asset for Tyler and his potential, championship run in this year, next year, in 3 years. But overall, again, I'd say Tyler wins this trade for sure. First trade he's probably won. Actually, not probably. It's definitely the first trade he's actually won. And in value-wise, and Jason is just taking on a lot of risk. It could pay off for him, but just a lot of risk in this trade. Probably a lot more to say about this trade, but I'm going to try to keep this short. We'll wrap it up. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.